Hey everybody, welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. I'm Matt, and today we're going to talk about Invincible episodes 1 through 3 on Amazon Prime. Before we go any further, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff, let me know what you guys think of the show yourselves. If you disagree with my review and whatnot, but this, just so you all know, is going to be a spoiler-free review since it just came out recently. And we want people to watch it and not just watch my review. So first things first, I gotta let everybody know this is a comic. It's an animated show, but it's based on a comic by Image by Robert Kirkman, who you might know as the writer of the Walking Dead comic. So this and the Walking Dead were kind of his two biggest series. So if you like the Walking Dead, those same sensibilities are in Invincible. He does a good job of taking two different types of comic books. You got horror from The Walking Dead, and you got superhero from this. But he has the same sensibilities as far as is pretty graphic and violent and whatnot. And there's a lot of humor and stuff in it too. There's a lot of like holy fuck moments in this. So that's something that he likes to do in all his books, regardless of genre. But these were like the two that he was doing like in the mid 2000s. They had The Walking Dead and this, and this was I don't know if it's equally as successful as The Walking Dead, but it was definitely a very successful series. It had like 150 something issues, so and it did end, so it has an ending and everything. So and I have only heard good things about. The further you go into it, the more it pays off and continues to be good, and a lot of like what the hell moments. So but the show, back to the show, it pays off as well. Now the difference between the show and the comic is basically like story pacing, because the comic takes a while to take off. There's like between issues 1 and 8 not much happens. There's a little bit of stuff that peppers in, but for the show, what they do is they give you that like initial superhero journey story of like finding your powers and all that, and they kind of lull you into a sense of security, because we've all seen this. We've seen Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and then the new ones. Like we've seen that journey happen, a bunch of times for every superhero in the Marvel universe and other universes where you see them either get their powers or learn how to use their powers, and it's pretty standard. So that kind of lulls the watcher into a sense of security, and then the end of the first issue or the first episode really punches you in the gut, and in the best way possible. So it's just like a holy crap moment, and that's what happens actually in issue 8. So like they actually took that big event that happens and move it forward in the show, and then episodes 2 and 3 are actually what happens in like issues 2 through 6 or 7 in the comic. So like it's interesting because they do that and it makes you hook automatically. Like you're watching, you're like, I don't know, this is just a regular superhero show, and then oh my fucking god, that was crazy, I gotta watch the second episode. Then you watch the second episode and it calms down a little bit, but then it like more weird stuff happens and interesting things you wouldn't think would happen normally in a superhero story start to occur. So like very very well done. I thought the animation's great. It at times it felt a little stiff sometimes, like the voice acting, but I think that'll get better the further it goes on. So maybe it's just because it's the first season and they hadn't quite got like the feel of it yet or something. But there was a little bit of like, okay, kind of stiff, but yeah, I'll give it a pass for a bit. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's pretty flawless. If you like superhero stuff, even if you don't like superhero stuff, because this is a bit subversive, it does a good job of kind of getting people on board. Kind of like The Walking Dead with, if you don't like horror, it did a good job of pulling you in and making you care about the characters more than you cared about the genre and whatnot. So I assume it's going to continue in this vein, but I just wanted to give you my thoughts. Now, John hasn't watched it, so my co-host on the podcast. So if he watches it and we want to do a spoiler cast, we might do that. But like I said, we did just review the comic series on our podcast, so check that out. I'll link it right here. What'd you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments. I think it was pretty flawless, but if you guys had other opinions, let me know. And like I said, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.